these like in-person reviews. Um, and I'm pretty much here to talk just about the Strive closed beta so far. It's been a crazy world, coronavirus and such. Uh, I'm sure everybody's here tired of hearing about it. I am, but at the same time, it's given us some time to play the beta. My normal schedule would never have allowed me to even get in any of these beta times, other than the fact that I've been laid off. So I can stay up till 3 in the morning. Where should we start on this? This is what's playing in the background here is recorded clips of me just playing the computer when the beta was opened. Online hadn't opened yet when I did this. So I'm just going to use it as a reference point for my talking points here. Let's start from the top, literally, the UI. This UI is interesting. I don't hate the functionality of this UI, but I hate the look of it because it has no business in this game. This is an Animal Crossing UI. This is my time at Porsche, where you like build a house and like build things. Yay! It's a Harvest Moon type game or something. I don't want to be rude if they don't consider it that, but like this is a kid's game menu. Every Guilty Gear menu has been gears and chains and fire and like heavy metal, hence the music choice, hence everything choice with Guilty Gear. This feels like when you childproof a house. I've had 2 kids, and I didn't childproof my house. Nothing ever happened. I just, watched my kids and didn't go, you know what, stay in the kitchen by yourself. So we never had any issues with that. But you walk into some people's houses and the drawers don't open because they've got kids locks and they've got foam on the sides of the house, of the cupboards, because what if the kid runs into it? Well, if the kid runs into it, you've got a different problem. Problem's not the cupboard. Same with this. This UI has been child-proofed for people who won't run into the cupboard. And I'm not saying that as a long-time player of Guilty Gear. I'm talking about as a human. Like, they child-proofed it to a point where it's now a problem. It takes away from the game instead of helping the game. The example I'm going to use for that is the portrait, the moving portrait. These guys here. This is a big problem, and they got told this after all the surveys that were handed in for all the demos that they played at majors. I was at Frosty Faustings this year with my son. The 2 of us went. He's 8, and it was his first time playing in a major, and he had a blast, and we played Strive. We played the demo a few times. And you couldn't learn a lot from it as how they're going forward, because you were very much aware, like, this is what they're doing, but they're filling out surveys so that they can make good changes. And so people were really filling them out, telling them what they think. Everybody that I saw, and everybody that I met, and everybody that I've interacted with who's had the opportunity to fill out one of these surveys has filled it out really detailed and really tried to put some effort into it. I've already written up a huge thing that I'm going to be handing in, plus whatever else over this weekend that I find out about the game that I think they should talk about. And I'll even link this video. Not that they care about my opinion, but they do care about everyone's opinion as a metadata type thing. So if a lot of people have the same points or complaints, there's no harm in everybody saying it. I like that they have the burst and the risk really visible. That's cool. The little rectangle frame I actually think is great. I don't think it looks bad. I think it's got all the information in a small thing there. It doesn't look like Guilty Gear, but it looks fine. And if this position here where May's portrait is here. If both portraits were in at the center all the time, it wouldn't be so bad. Like, more like that, where the portraits would come together a little. I should just let that run in the background. Because you could look to the center and get all your information that you need there. Sorry, I should preface this whole thing. The ARC team, I guess it's Team Red that makes Guilty Gear. They said that they were using eye tracking software and that they found Guilty Gear players look around the screen more often than other game players do. So they wanted to centralize. There you go, right there. They wanted to centralize the data so that players didn't have to look all over the screen anymore. The problem was with the way they've done that, what they want you to do is look up to see your health and then go, that's where my risk gauge is, that's where my burst is, and I can see my health. One packet of information. What they haven't taken into account is basically your eyes have a tracking time. And every single fighting game player in the world has tracked their eyes to the corners to see extra information on their characters. Every single game does this. So now every player is going, look up in the corner. No, gotta go find where that information. There's the information. I do have a burst. And then go back to the game. It's even worse if it's your opponent. If you're trying to see if your opponent has a burst, because you've got to find out, look up and look for their life bar. You have to actively search for their life bar to see the information packet for them. So I bet if they run that same software to track eye movement, I bet you right now it is double, triple what it was before. Their good intention is a huge backfire. This is one of the most miserable things in the game. Every single person I've met has put that voice forward to them and said, stop this. And here we are, it's been redesigned and it's still moving. It's like telling a kid, don't touch the stove, and they just go. You have to help them after and go, I'm sorry, you're stupid. I just told you not to do that, and that's literally what we're doing with ARC right now. I love Guilty Gear. Myself and the friends that I play with, we started in like 2004 playing Guilty Gear. 2003, 2004 is when we started playing Guilty Gear. It's XX. And it's been my favorite fighting game ever since. And I've played May ever since. That's a whole nother video on how shit May is in this game. I mean, none of the characters feel good. May, they redesign May every game, and here they were like, instead of a redesign, let's just delete all of her moves. Whatever. Okay, sorry, we were talking about the UI. It looks child-proofed. It's got a little bit of a Guilty Gear theme in the center there that looks okay. But it screams bland, which is fine. They're trying to clean up, like they want you to see the background and all the niceness instead of just those big outlines. Another thing is that's great for tournament. They literally have the tournament space for names and scores already there. You're not covering up any infographics. That might be part of why they did it. And that's fine. Like I said, I don't have a huge problem with how it looks. The moving things there, that is a massive problem. It needs to be stamped out. Put both of them in the center or both of them back where they're supposed to be. That's it. Because that's where fighting game people look. The giant flaming gear on top of the tension bar, go back to making it change colors. Yeah, you got one. No, fuck off. This menu I don't have a problem with. I don't like the moving background because it's like the trailer that's playing. So they're doing big punches and stuff in the background. It's just ugly. To have everything as a transparency, pick a different video or something. Have some moving background, but it looks bad that way. Um, okay, where are we now? Life, health bars. And this isn't from the how they look point of view. This is a health bar from a 3 wild throws and you're dead. 2 pot busters and a light punch and you're dead. I mean, pot buster's always been a bad example, but this is still a major issue. These matches are super short, super uninteresting. There's very few moves, very few things you can do, and very little back and forth. If you get touched twice in this game, put your controller down. Have a nice day. That's not a game. That's play rock paper scissors. If you are going to choose to have such a short game where one decision makes the whole game, just play rock paper scissors. Everything else is unnecessary. And that I feel a little bit like that here. It's a little better than that, obviously, but these matches are short. I'm going to use as an example here. Sorry for saying all the time. Where can I look up? As an example, at the Frosty Faustings match, Peppery Splash and Lost Soul had a match. They had multiple matches. It was actually pretty awesome. But the back and... Oh, I don't know whose video I just took this from. Sorry, whoever you are. Where are we? Sammy Nash. I'm just using a clip of your thing just for the visual. Sorry, bud. This was an amazing match. Shit, I'm trying to find one that's not that guy's thing now. Sorry. But the back and forth for the last 10 seconds, for the last little bit of health of that match was unbelievable. I'm not going to find it. I'll just leave it as is. In this game, that whole match can't happen. It can't technically happen. The punches in this game do too much damage. The light damage in this game does too much damage. They had a back and forth that was almost brought down to magic pixels, where it's like line of health, line of health, line of health, line of health. Every time they hit each other, they didn't follow through or didn't hit enough to be able to. And it turned into this match that made the entire place explode. People were popping off, jumping out of seats, yelling. It was fantastic. It was some of the most hype shit I've ever seen. And if they were playing this game, it would have been a 7-second match. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, yeah, done. Have a nice day. It's not fun to play. It's too short. It's just not fun in the way that the other Guilty Gears were fun. I know Xrd was different than other Guilty Gears, but I played X2 for years, or XX, whatever you want to call it. It didn't feel like this. It's not. People keep saying they've gone back to their roots. No, they haven't, because it never felt like this. Sorry. Next topic. One thing in these menus here that would be great. I like the fact that they give you the information. I like the fact that they give you the video there of how the move works. What would be phenomenal is if at the bottom of this little box here there was a little S and a little R and a little A, and it had frame data. Startup 4, active 5, recovery 14. Whatever the move happens to be, put some of that frame data into that little box of information and people will lose their minds. They'll be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Thank you so much. Mortal Kombat already did it. I don't know if frame data is in many other games, but it's huge. In a game where you have stripped away all the technical aspects of it, please just give the players that do want to stay frame data. You've made the game ugly, no fun to play, and very short. At least give us the data on why it's not fun to play and really short. Yeah, the game's super slow. This wouldn't be the match to show that off, but Faust. The game is just super slow. See, right there, if you were playing, you could look into that center and get the information you want. Right here, you could look to the two corners, get the information. Now I'm looking up and going, where? What? Huh? While shit's happening on the screen. Bad idea. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating how much you're going, where? What? Huh? You're not going to do that. But this is a game that's measured in frames. I just asked for frame data. 4 frames of data. 4 active frames. If you are not looking where you're supposed to be looking for a frame, you can lose the match based on it. So having 2 or 3 frames worth of time for your eyes to find where your information is, you've lost the game. It's bad. It doesn't help when the speed of the game is like Fafnir, slow, everything's slow. Doesn't feel like you're playing a Guilty Gear game. It feels a lot more Street Fighter, Tekken speed, which I've always complained about. I used to like playing Tekken, but I only ever played in the Tekken 2, Tekken Tag era, Tekken 3. Haven't played it in years. But it was always a slow game, and so seeing it slow doesn't matter. Seeing Guilty Gear slow is different. It's not okay. I may make a I may make a video all on its own of my complaints about May. But I will say the characters as a whole, characters like Soul, who are always legacy, they have to put his moves in, and it has to be Soul. The Soul players I know argue that this doesn't look or feel like Soul really, but he's still Soul. Every game May gets half remade. They take half of her moves, delete them, and bring in new moves. She used to have spirals. She used to have Mystifiner. She had all these different moves back in the day that they got rid of one by one, and brought in new moves. The Beach Ball, one of my favorite moves ever in Exard. It's a tacky fireball in Strive. It's a useful fireball. I don't hate it. I don't hate the Beach Ball. I like the old Beach Ball more, but I don't hate the new Beach Ball. No dolphin summons. No air or anything. I don't even have Insenga, which I did in the demo. They've removed it. I don't like that. But whatever. Like a character that has so few moves and they're removing moves, it doesn't feel right. Now let's get back to this a little more realistically. The online lobby. The online lobby in this game could make me not buy the game. The online lobby in this game is one of the worst things I've ever seen, and it's one of the worst experiences I've ever felt when it comes to a fighting game. Exard had what I consider the best fighting game lobby that's ever been made. You had these rooms, you could challenge people, you could go into separate rooms, you could have your friends, you could kick a soccer ball around, you could get into line so that you knew you were next in line. I considered the Dragon Ball lobby a downgrade from the Guilty Gear one. It was a little better in an interactive sense. It was much worse in a room sense. The rooms, if you joined a room, they could just sit and rematch each other till the end of time and go fuck yourself. You're not allowed in. And you're in the room already. It was just the Dragon Ball room is really not good. The old Guilty Gear room, amazing. This Looks like they hired the guy who made that like 100,000 or 100 million. There was a game for Android where you were just a little guy or whatever. It's 8-bit graphics in a giant room where everybody's sitting there holding a thing out. You can customize what your person looks like, but they all look like shit. It's a real strange one. Let me find some of my own content to show so that I don't do what I did to that other guy. Where are we? There we are. Ooh, I'm in the wrong place here. Yeah, the online lobby for this game was a real nightmare. Yeah, real nightmare. The online Shift Japan. Here we are. What's this one? I'll pause you. Bring you over here. This tower thing is all right. They want to group similar levels of players for online. I can get that. That's like having the little square boxes in Dragon Ball, right? Like it just shows you what level you're in. So on here, you can only group up with people that are your same level. That is pretty good in some ways. Some ways. It could be a problem. Oh no, you can play against the same level or better than you, right? So that's okay. But you can't go and fuck up all these people below you, which I've had happen lots of times in games like Dragon Ball, and even in Guilty Gear, where you get this one guy who's like, whoa, this is a different level.
Okay.
Why is he even allowed to play me? In Dragon Ball, I get it constantly where I do not play Dragon Ball. I have a team and I play the game because my friends play, and I'll go feed them for a round because I'm not going to win. But
forever.
I enjoy fighting games. In that, it's fuck. I don't know. This lobby makes me upset. I'm not playing right now. I'm watching myself playing last night, trying to get a match started, not knowing how to get a match started. It currently says initializing match, but matches didn't happen. It tells you to bump into a guy to start a match, but it never worked. It looks bad. It works bad. It is bad. Delete it. Final Fantasy XIV set out a beta, and it was so bad they deleted the entire game and remade the game from scratch, and even called it Reborn because of that. You need to do this with this lobby. This lobby needs to be deleted. We need to bury the information that it was ever made. You know what? That's not fair. Publicize how bad this is, so that other companies don't try and go, what if we did this, and copy this by mistake. This is bad. It needs to be fixed to a point that is indescribable. I hate it. It's my most hated thing in the game was when I logged on to online last night and I saw that lobby. I was immediately genuinely disappointed with Arc System Works as a developer. Just, I've been betrayed by the utter disgusting, horrid idea of this. Yeah. Fuck you. Fuck you for making that fucking lobby. Whoever the designer was on that. Well, we've gone through a bunch of my thoughts on this game. I don't even know what to say about it. I need to smoke a joint just to deal with the stress of seeing this again. I want this game to be good. I play this with my son. I play this with all of my closest friends. I love this game so much that people who don't play fighting games hear me talk about it and they're like, I kind of want to play that. And I'm like, don't do it because I'm not always going to be able to play with you, and you're not going to play with other people. That whole thing, right? You don't want to sour people on games, but I gush over the Guilty Gear franchise. I gush over it, and so I accidentally get people to want to play it. Okay, I'll do a little bit of May right now instead of making a second video. And the bursts. We'll just keep going with this shit. Fuck it. Bursts are interesting in this game. They do work. I don't have a big problem with them. They're kind of a neat mechanic. I was never good at bursting before. Burst. I keep saying burst. What am I talking about? Roman cancels. The Roman cancels in this game work fine. I don't have a problem with them. When they interrupt, they're even cooler. I like them. I was never good at Roman canceling. Ever. It's not something I practiced a lot. I flail around a lot. I'm terrible. But the cancel feels fine. It's a big graphic for some reason. Circle of doom for a burst, or not a burst even, cancel. But they're functional. I don't have a problem with them. The burst is the same as it always was. That's fine. I miss all the little things. I miss the fact that they took dead angles out, or they took Blitz. Sorry, Blitz. They took Blitz out of it. I'm gonna miss those mechanics. They were fun mechanics. I wasn't good with them, but they were fun mechanics. And when I saw someone who could do those mechanics well, I was always like, damn, that's some cool shit. That's what allows you to get hype over the game. The difficulty of the thing you just saw is phenomenal. That doesn't exist now. There's no difficulty in this game. Oh shit, he hit that guy for half his health and then wild throwed him, so now he's at 10%. So he gun flamed and it was perfect. That's the excitement of this game. Yeah. It's sad. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. The bursting's fine. The Roman canceling's fine. They've got rid of the other mechanics, which should be there. This is distracting me. I'm looking at this fucking thing, and I'm losing thought control because of how angering the online lobby is. I'm switching this out. Sorry. Oop. That's, I thought I did that. Okay, sorry. That was unfortunate. Everything about that was unfortunate. Their servers were crashing last night, but that's pretty normal, and you can even see one of the crashes here. The game looks fantastic. I just I hope they listen to the critiques. I haven't heard many players saying many good things. And I want this to be good. Please release it in 2022. Please give us a couple more years of Exard. Please go back and make this game right. Because it's wrong right now. This is not a game anyone from Guilty Gear wants to play. Arc currently has a situation where they may be in an attempt to bring in a lot of new players. They're really alienating their old players. Street Fighter alienated some old players by changing up the game too much, but they did bring in a lot of new players ish. This isn't going to work that way. They are going to lose more players than they're going to bring people on. This game is too different to get a whole new crowd, and this game here is way too different to maintain your Guilty Gear audience. This is the kind of game that's so badly thought out by developers that it can damage a company, and I don't want to see that happen. I've been an ARC fanboy for 20 years, almost 16 years. Actually, longer than that. No, yeah, 16 years, because they bought the company that made those, like, River City ransoms. They didn't make those. I could be wrong about that. Maybe they did make those, the original ones, but I think they purchased the company that made them. And now they're making more of them, which is cool. That's all I'm really going to say, I think, for this video. I've already spoken too long. It's a half-hour review. It's everything I'm thinking, and it's heartfelt. Thanks for watching, and I hope this turns into a really good game.